Good heavens, he actually did it. Simon quickly said to himself, as Jace and Hayden's eyes went wide and they all went silent, still accompanied by the deafening noise of the drunken crowd behind them. The deck of many things illuminated with a faint golden glow, and as Popa's hand got closer to the cards, one of them began to wiggle its way out of the deck on its own towards his finger. As the two made contact with each other, Popa grabbed onto a corner of the card, and took a look at which one he'd drawn. "The Jester," he said, and they all waited in a silent but gut-wrenching anticipation. Nothing happened. Popa mentioned he felt much stronger, like he could defeat an enemy way more powerful than he used to be able to, but that was about it, and that could have just been the alcohol. In reality, his character leveled up. Strangely, the deck continued to glow with golden magic, and another two cards wiggled their way out of the deck towards Popa. To everyone's shock and without a second thought, he pulled them both as the first card burnt to a crisp in thin air and disintegrated. "Ruin. That can't be good," Popa said with a low and joking tone. Then, he began to pat himself down with his free hand. He dug around in his pockets and bag, and to his surprise, all of his gold and other forms of wealth had disappeared, as Simon, Jace, and Hayden couldn't help but laugh. While the second card disintegrated, it was now time for the third and final card, and Popa flipped it over confidently. "The void?" Popa asked with a slightly confused expression, and then it happened. The light left Popa's eyes, all of the muscles in his face relaxed along with the rest of his body, and he hit the ground hard and in a heap of himself, completely catatonic. The card, as it floated down to the ground, burnt to a crispy pile of ash next to him. The same look of horror and shock was exchanged between Hayden, Jace, and Simon, as Simon began to lift his arms and legs in a much more sober manner. "We need to move him to my room right now. If anyone asks, he drank too much." Understood, and with a quick exchange of agreement, they all moved upstairs to Simon's bedroom. They all came crashing through the door. Simon laid Popa on his bed, and gave instructions to Jace and Hayden to scour the books on the walls for anything in regards to the deck of many things, and they began a panicked search. Books and papers were flying everywhere. It felt like they couldn't find anything, until Jace finally found a book with information on every card in the deck. According to the tome, this black card spells disaster. If drawn, the person's soul is separated from their body and contained in an object in an undisclosed location. One or more extremely powerful beings guard this place. Even the most powerful spell in existence, Wish, cannot restore the soul back to the body. It can, however, reveal the soul's location. It truly was the worst of circumstances. They just wanted to celebrate with their friends after another adventure they barely survived, and as always, it was out of the frying pan and into the fire. Popa's soul had left his body, and they had no idea where it had gone. Whatever they had planned on doing tomorrow was now out of the question. Their new mission was clear. Hayden and Jace's faces turned from panic to determination, and they laid out a game plan. First, they needed to find someone who could cast Wish, the single most powerful spell ever. Simon didn't have much in regards to leads or connections, but what he did know was that Bordvo had mentioned meeting someone who was powerful enough in the past. After some discussion, and catching Bordvo up to speed, Simon agreed to accompany Hayden and Jace back to Bordvo's version of the apparatus, where he would lead them to the last place he encountered this powerful mage. In the meantime, they had to decide what they would do with Popa's body. They didn't want to leave him in Simon's room lest his body start to decay or something, and they definitely didn't trust the strong-beard dwarves to do an adequate job in preserving him. Unfortunately, they assumed the wood elves in the forest probably had the proper technology or magic, so they reluctantly chose to seek them out.